Many Canadian corporations are currently working to answer the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's Call to Action number 92. This directive asks the private sector to adopt a formal reconciliation framework, making Indigenous relations a priority for modern corporate social responsibility. But good intentions alone create a structural problem. Without a shared standard of accountability, it is difficult for communities or the public to separate real, systemic change from a temporary marketing campaign. Historically, corporate engagement often defaulted to discretionary philanthropy, a model of one-off donations that did little to foster long-term economic self-determination for Indigenous peoples. This lack of verification creates a landscape where Indigenous communities must guess who is a safe, reliable partner, while the public remains skeptical of corporate claims. Since 1984, the Canadian Council for Indigenous Business, or CCIB, has worked to resolve this tension. For 40 years, they have focused on building measurable business relationships between corporate Canada and Indigenous entrepreneurs. To solve the accountability gap, the CCIB developed a specific certification framework, the Partnership Accreditation in Indigenous Relations Program, or PAIR. PAIR is not an honorary award. It is a rigorous verification engine designed to ensure that a company's actions result in a more equitable Indigenous economy. The program functions as both an online management tool and a third-party audited certification system. Depending on the depth of their commitment and the results of their audit, companies are ranked at bronze, silver, or gold levels. In 2024, the CCIB rebranded the program, shifting the name from Progressive Aboriginal Relations to Partnership Accreditation in Indigenous Relations. That change reflects a specific philosophy. While progressive suggests a linear path led by the company, partnership requires a reciprocal relationship that acknowledges Indigenous sovereignty. This ranking serves as the final proof of a multi-year effort to integrate equity into a company's internal structure, a result achieved by meeting 4 specific operational requirements. To determine a company's rank, an independent jury of Indigenous business leaders evaluates the organization across 4 performance pillars. The first pillar is leadership actions. This requires corporate executives to demonstrate a top-down commitment to Indigenous relations through documented policies and clear organizational goals. Next is employment. The jury looks for equitable representation in the workforce, recruitment and retention strategies for Indigenous talent, and mandatory cultural awareness training for all staff. The third pillar, community relationships, tracks how a company engages with Indigenous rights holders and the level of direct support it provides for community-led initiatives. Finally, business development measures the corporation's commitment to direct contracting with Indigenous-owned businesses. By auditing these 4 specific areas, the PAIR program ensures that a company has adjusted its operational DNA to sustain long-term, equitable results. The business development pillar is where high-level corporate policy translates into immediate economic impact. For a corporation to achieve a silver or gold PAIR rating, it must build commercial supply chain relationships with certified Indigenous businesses, or CIDs. These are companies that have been independently vetted by the CCIB to verify Indigenous ownership. Bear Standing Tall Inc. is a prime example of a certified Indigenous business. They are a high-capacity service provider capable of meeting the complex needs of major corporate contracts. Companies like Bear Standing Tall Inc. do not seek charitable handouts. They offer competitive business solutions that allow corporations to meet their operational needs while fulfilling their PAIR requirements. The result is a symbiosis where the corporation secures an exceptional service provider and wealth flows directly back into the Indigenous economy. This ecosystem changes how business is done in Canada. It transforms routine procurement cycles and requests for proposals into active tools for Indigenous self-determination. For Indigenous communities and leaders, this gold seal is a verified trust signal. It eliminates the guesswork, pointing toward partners who have proven their commitment through rigorous, independent audits. It replaces a history of dependency with a self-sustaining and audited marketplace built on mutual respect. The path for corporate leadership is clear. By engaging with the CCIB and the PAIR framework, you can move reconciliation from a public statement to a structural part of your business. You can fulfill your corporate mandate by directly contracting with thriving, capable, certified Indigenous businesses like Bear Standing Tall Inc. Utilizing the PAIR framework is not about checking a box. It is an investment in a more prosperous and equitable Canadian economy for the next 40 years.